In today's episode, I'll be giving my review and reaction to the 2010 film True Grit. True Grit is a Western with a runtime of an hour and 50 minutes. The directors are the Coen brothers, Ethan and Joel, which I've only seen one movie of theirs before, Fargo. And Fargo is a good movie. It's crazy, but interesting to know that coming in. This movie stars Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Barry Pepper, and Haley Steinfeld as a child. Here we go with True Grit. Do something, man. People are questioning you. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, yep, do that. Sure, guys. Stupid and dumb. Just an idiot. Get your shit together, son. Fuck it. I loved it. Welcome to the DubCast. True Grit is a movie that has been on my list for a while to watch. I'm not sure why or how it got recommended to me, but yeah, I probably would have taken it. No, I'm just kidding. This was okay. Like, it wasn't the worst movie. I don't think it's the best movie by any means at all either. The movies that are on my list, I have expectations for, because it's recommendations. Sorry, it's really hot in here. I'm going to roll my sleeves up. I had high expectations. Once I saw it was a Western, I was like, why did I add this movie to my list? Because I'm starting to run out of patience with Westerns. If you saw my Unforgiven review, it's like, Jesus fucking, can we get to the fucking point of this shit? I thought no aspect of this movie grabbed me. It's like, okay, we have fun maybe you can say Jeff Bridges grabbed you. Okay, and there's a lot of people on the wonderful TV Time app. One day I'm going to get sponsored by them, because I bring them up a lot, but I'm not sponsored, but I'm just on TV Time. The wonderful people in the TV Time comments were like glazing Haley Steinfeld's performance. Yeah, she's a rootable kid. Like, okay, it wasn't fucking like jaw-dropping performance in my opinion, and maybe that's just me being anti-Westerns. But nothing from this movie grabs me and was like, holy shit, this deserves a really good score, and I can talk about it for a long time. It's like it was just a Western where nothing happened until the last 10 minutes. And I don't know why. What's the point of this Western shit where it's like a slow burn for an hour and a half plus, and then at the end, just fucking like 7 consecutive events that happen in a row where nothing makes sense? How that's good to you guys? That's whatever. And people will say I gave I don't know what people will say because no one watches the channel, and I also disappeared for a week and a half. I'm sorry about that. I'm back now. Nonetheless, where was I? Westerns. I think I'm done with Westerns, guys. 310 to Yuma was okay. If you consider like Django Unchained a Western, if you consider fucking Hateful Eight a Western, then like I'm a Western simp. But it's like these Unforgiven, True Grit, it's like, really, what are we accomplishing with these movies? Like, I don't know. Nothing grabbed me. Very slow build up. The one positive, my favorite aspect of this movie, goes out to my man Jeff Bridges. I don't know why I'm like glazing him super hard either, and I already said glaze twice this podcast. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed Jeff Bridges in this role, especially at the beginning of the movie when he's like this old grump and he's just grilling Haley Steinfeld's character. Easily my favorite aspect from this movie. His character had me laughing out loud, and I'm not the laugh out loud type of person. I'm the person who texts LOL and stares at you with a straight face type thing. But Jeff Bridges had me laughing in this movie, and we also had a Matt Damon appearance, which like it was fine. I didn't mind it. I'm not gonna think about. I've honestly, when I went to record this review, I forgot that Matt Damon was even in this movie. So that tells you all you need to know about Matt Damon's performance. And I'm not going to blame that on him. I'm going to blame it on the director. You have Matt Damon, who's probably, I'm not going to tier list actors, whatever. But Matt Damon has crazy movies. This isn't going to be one that I think, oh shit, Matt Damon had a really good, it was just okay. It was fine. Yeah, so like I've been saying before, this movie kind of falls in line with a 310 to Yuma or an Unforgiven storyline. It just was like less intriguing than 310 to Yuma in my opinion. I think it falls in between though. I think there was a little bit more here to chew with than Unforgiven, even though I've been saying there's nothing that grabbed me. Unforgiven was a fucking slog. No, I'm kidding. There was good aspects of the movie. You basically if we're doing a compare and contrast with Unforgiven, and I don't know why I'm like hijacking this into an Unforgiven movie review, but they're really closely similar. You're comparing Clint Eastwood versus Jeff Bridges. It's tough, and you have Morgan Freeman on the side there, but I feel like this was a slightly more compelling storyline. Haley Steinfeld, thought she did a good job. Nothing worth like an Oscar or anything. A lot of people I think just feel bad for kid actors and actresses, which makes sense because their lives can be ruined, and if you say they have a bad performance, then they get they're gonna cry and shit. And I'm not saying Haley Steinfeld had a bad performance. I'm saying the opposite of people saying like, oh my god, she was the best thing ever in this movie. It was somewhat memorable, but not really like I'm not gonna be like, holy shit, Haley Steinfeld can really act. Sinners, that's where you fucking get a good acting job. No, I'm just kidding, but she was good in this movie, but nothing stand out. I wasn't her biggest fan completely, but I was rooting for her throughout. She's a rootable main character of the movie, so I did appreciate her to that. Also charismatic enough. The thing I don't love about the Westerns is the stuff at the end, and it's a super slow build up. Then they're throwing everything in your fucking face. They give up on the hunt for her killer or for her dad's killer. Then all of a sudden she stumbles upon Chaney in the river. There's a 1v4. Chaney is shot, and then she falls down the cave and gets bitten by a snake, all within the span of 10 minutes. Dude, like, could some of this had maybe happened a little bit earlier in the movie when we're just fucking like running around and it's the Haley Steinfeld and Jeff Bridges versus Matt Damon storyline throughout? Like, I don't know. There are like a couple memorable scenes from the middle of the movie that not even are like memorable. They're just like, oh yeah, that happened type thing. But the ending was like, what are we doing? It's like fast forwarding 3 years. Like, I'm saying this as a metaphor. It's like we're fast forwarding 3 years and just showing it to you in 10 minutes. That's basically what happened because it's fucking all these crazy events that happen. I thought the beginning, in my opinion, started off really super slow, and that kind of turned me off for the rest of the movie. It didn't turn me off, but I wasn't locked in. You have those types of movies where it's like Django Unchained, like you can't take your freaking eyes off the screen. This one, check the text. Did somebody hit me up while Haley Steinfeld's running around trying to get money and for a horse? Like, why do I care about this? Especially the conversation with the bookkeeper. Thought those were pretty boring. Will say, this movie did have decent scenics throughout. The music didn't nudge me either way. Sometimes I bring up the music as really good or really bad, or this time I'm just saying it's neither. It was there. Definitely, I do think there were some strong moments in the movie. The confrontation in the shop where Chaney had been. I forget specifically what that place was called, but that was fun. I remember, Matt Damon and Jeff Bridges initially is fun. Haley versus Jeff Bridges is fun. Ending, it is crazy, but there are some like fun moments in there and strong moments. But not. There are some moments that are not as strong throughout the middle of the movie. So that kind of leaves me with my score where I'm at. I'm kind of middling on the movie in general. I'm not sure I'd go run and tell someone they need to watch this. Maybe if you like Westerns, you could check it out, but I'm not really going to highly recommend this, but it wasn't, as dreadful as a watch. It's maybe I even made it out to see him in this review so far, but I gave it a 6.6. I really like Jeff Bridges' character. I really like Jeff Bridges' acting. Haley Steinfeld did the job well. Josh Brolin is listed also as a main actor in this when he's in the movie for like 15 minutes. Matt Damon had, a standard to average performance. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world. I'm landing it at a 6.6. Now we compare this movie amongst the other movies we reviewed so far on the DubCast. Checking in at number 55 of 67 movies reviewed so far on the DubCast. So as you guys know, I do like to bloat scores. No, I don't like to do it, but I just end up having a positive outlook on life. Glass half full, So a lot of these movies perform better than a 6.6, which maybe tells me something about my scoring system. Nonetheless, this comes at a number 55. So we have some other Matt Damon movies to compare this to. Just one, Born Identity, 7.4. So, you know, movies, I think movie reviews are very subjective, and there's no one who can be like, this is a better movie than that. You can't say that statistically. I could say Over the Hedge is the best movie of all time. What are you going to press me on? The dialogue, okay. You know, so you can kind of tell where I lean on this stuff. I do like action movies better than Western. So if you think this movie's leaps and bounds above Born Identity, I'd respect your opinion, but I disagree. Nonetheless, there's also other movies we have to compare from Haley Steinfeld. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, 8.5. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 8.9. Sinners, 8.3. So, wow. No, so that's a fair score for Sinners. Nonetheless, yeah, I thought the Spider-Verse movies were amazing. This didn't really move me as much. Sinners was a great movie to watch in theaters, and, maybe I should have seen True Grit in theaters. I don't know if it would boosted my experience. I do think seeing it in theaters is worth at least a couple of decimal points, but this is our worst Haley Steinfeld movie to date. And we also have the Western list. So, as I mentioned, Unforgiven. This beats out Unforgiven by 0.3 points. Honestly, I would love to do like a video essay comparing, like, I would not love to do this at all. I'd actually hate to do this, but I would like to see someone do a video essay on comparing Unforgiven versus True Grit and like what's different and what's better and what's worse. I think True Grit is slightly better. Gave it 0.3 points higher, but you have Jeff Bridges, you have Clint Eastwood, it's two snarling, grumpy old men. You have the young cat, Schofield kid, and then Haley Steinfeld's character, and then you have like the sidekick, Matt Damon, Morgan Freeman. So I think that'd be a fun comparison. If somebody out there wants to do that, I'm not doing it, but more westerns to get to. Loses out to 3:10 to Yuma, 7.9. Brokeback Mountain. That's a great Western right there. The Revenant, 8.3, Hateful Eight, 9.0, and Django Unchained, 9.2. I wouldn't consider Hateful Eight and... Oh, it just started raining. Or maybe it's the wind. Distracting. Anyways, Hateful Eight and Django Unchained I wouldn't really consider a Western, and Revenant... I might have given Revenant a little bit too high of a score, but... I digress. I wouldn't consider that either really a Western either. So yeah, that's where we leave off with the DubCast graphic. Now let's get into my thoughts and reactions throughout the film. As always, we start off with the beginning of the film. The first thing we see is the most important thing in the DubCast channel, because I usually forget what the fuck happened at the beginning of the movie, which includes this movie, which starts with a quote, "The wicked flee when none pursueth." Now, analyzing this quote, analyzing these 6 words, the wicked, so obviously that's bad people, flee, they leave, when none pursueth. So that feels like to me, unless I'm missing some sort of accentuation on pursueth, like that means like a different thing. This quote doesn't make a single lick of sense to me. The wicked flee when none pursueth. So these people, the bad people, leave when no one pursues them. And maybe I'm seeing it now, where they are able to run away when no one pursues them. Maybe that's what that means, and that would fit in really well with the movie. So there you go, got it together. So decent quote to start this movie out. We have a message: a 14-year-old's dad was shot by Chaney, who fled. Now I don't know. I'm sure if you're this far into the review, you've watched True Grit. But this beginning, it's like they throw a bunch of shit in your face. It's like Chaney was here, and then the dad was here, and he saved the world, and he got shot in the head, and then he did. Like, that felt very fast. Maybe we could have seen that play out, especially considering this movie has a pretty short runtime. But I don't know. It felt like they were just... I don't know. I like doing this hand motion, too. It felt like they were throwing shit in your face, and it's like, keep up, bud. And then we're just going to sit around and twiddle our thumbs for 2 hours until we get to the last scene. No, I gotta stop harping on this because I thought it was a decent movie. Moving on. Hanging. There's people hanging in the streets. This is the old days, in the cowboy days, where you have the scene of 3 gentlemen being hanged in the town square. These 2 gentlemen get to say their final words, and there's 1 Native American gentleman who doesn't get to say a single thing, just gets hanged. And then everyone around claps as they're all hung in the town square. Like, this is what we did for fun. You're not going to watch the UFC fights. You're not going to freaking watch the baseball game. You're not going to freaking watch the movies or bowl or play golf or whatever, you're going to fucking watch people get hung, which is crazy to think about 100 or so years later. Um, Maybe even more. But I digress. I think this scene tries to show you, like, oh, we're going to mix in some funny stuff with, this guy's not going to be able to talk. And yeah, definitely some, I don't know, is that rate or I'm not even going to get into it. There's some deeper stuff at play here. So they're hung. We kind of get the vibe of the town. It's like if we were able to get this Cheney guy, maybe we can get him to the town square. That's what Haley Steinfeld's character all basically wants the whole movie, is to just bring him to justice, not to see him get shot. She wants to see him be hung for some reason. Moving on. So Haley Steinfeld, we know her, we love her. This is her as a kid, and she is able to acquire a gun from her father. Her father used to stay in this place, I guess, and she just pulls up and grabs the gun. In order to do this, she has to sleep next to grandma or next to a grandma in like some grandma house. Like this beginning was like, let's fast forward, man. We didn't need any of this. We throw this in the little dialogue if we're gonna fucking throw out 70 lines of movie at the beginning. God damn, put this shit in. But yeah, she's sleeping with dead bodies. I guess someone's like a morgue instructor. I was like I am right now. Like I'm about to fucking fall asleep. I'm being so negative for no reason. Anyways, so she's sleeping with the grandma. She's sleeping next to dead bodies. She's scrapping, And my question is, where's the mother? The mother just lets this 14-year-old girl like run the world and do whatever the fuck she wants. I respect it. It's the old Wild West. But yeah, I don't know. Felt like she was doing a little too much there. Nonetheless, she needs to hire somebody to track down her father's killer. And there's a special group of interested individuals who may be able to get this job done after talking to the sheriff. There's three men described to her. There's one man named Cogburn who seemed like to be the worst of them all. Like, definitely wouldn't listen to a 14-year-old girl. And, of course, she's like, that's the one I want to choose to be the one to represent me and chase down this motherfucker who killed my dad. So she drops in on him testifying, and right away, this is when you're drawn into Cogburn's character. We begin to love Cogburn. Seems like a beast, where he's telling the story about how he just shoots somebody, and you can just tell he was just gonna fucking shoot them no matter what. But the way he describes it's funny, and this kind of back and forth courthouse dialogue between these old day lawyers and Cogburn just sitting back like, yeah, I just shot him because he pulled out his axe. He was gonna shoot me with it. I thought that scene was awesome. I loved Jeff Bridges, as I mentioned many times. So Matty, who is Haley Steinfeld's character, says the line of the movie. He's got true grit, so she wants him to be the one to work for her and find her father's killer. And Cogburn's like, I ain't doing it. Should I do the old Jeff, or the not angry, but Jeff Bridges impression, the whole review? Would you guys like that? Too bad, because I already decided, and you don't know what I'm going to do. So either you're going to click off or keep watching. No, but he denies the initial offering, which is obvious, where it's like nothing could ever happen. We have to fill the runtime, so she's going to have to do something else, and then we'll see what happens. So yeah, initially Cogburn's saying, hell no, I ain't going to track down your father's killer. LaBouffe. We're introduced to a new character, Matt Damon's LaBouffe. He has actually been tracking Cheney as well. And then when Maddie wakes up in her bed, there's a 30 to 40-year-old man just staring at her. Which, I keep it a buck on the channel. I always call out these weirdos. This was weird, Matt. It's not Matt Damon's fault. LaBouffe. This was a very weird move from you. Maybe, close the door, be sitting outside the door, wake up, like, to stare at her while she's sleeping. I thought that was very uncomfortable. And yeah, he wants to join in with Cogburn to take down Cheney. It gets worse, where he's like, I was thinking of stealing a kiss. Sir, she's 14, you're 45. Come on, man. Like, how are we supposed to be rooting for LaBouffe when he's being a fucking weirdo like this? So yeah, that was very uncomfortable, and I was just like, let's get out of here because I don't know. But you know, Matt Damon's gonna be in the movie later on, so it's like this is how we're introducing him. He's gonna steal a kiss from a 14-year-old girl while she's sleeping. That's LaBouffe, man. I love LaBouffe. It's like, what the fuck, bro? So while Maddie thinks, she's going to get another chance to talk to Cogburn, of course, he dips the set without her. So he basically takes the job but doesn't tell her and leaves her a train ticket to go back home, which is, pretty responsible out of him. You compare the actions of him versus LaBouffe or his, like, I don't want to call out Mattie's mom, but it's like, girl, clock in, Cogburn's leaving her the train ticket to go back home. And of course, as any protagonist kid does in any movie ever, she has to rebel against the system and does not take the train ticket and crosses the river. Crosses the river with her horse, which is the classic, every time I watch a Western, I always think about Red Dead Redemption, where this is the classic, like you're going through the water with your horse and you like are swimming and swimming and swimming and you're just being a menace where like you get to the point where the horse drowns, you drown because no one can fucking swim in the Wild West, I guess. But yeah, this felt like that, except the nose is like an inch above the water the whole time to cross this little riverway. Um, so yeah, man, she's able to get through and could have easily drowned, especially if she's on the wave of Red Dead Redemption and not being able to swim. But she is able to get across on the horse. So, of course, Maddie is on the mission as well. And even more uncomfortableness here, where we have LaBouffe and Cogburn on the other side of the river. And LaBouffe is not happy that Maddie has made the decision to join them. And in order to teach her, a 14-year-old, a couple years away from being fully functional and whatever. I mean, a 14-year-old's an 8th grader, so it's not like she's an idiot. It's not like she's a child, but his only way of scolding her and teaching her how to be correct is spanking her with a switch. And then this is where we're kind of endeared to Cogburn, where he stops and he's like, what, she can come. She knows what she's signing up for. She just fucking crossed the river on fucking a horse an inch away from death. Well, maybe death, but we don't know their swimming abilities. But he lets it fly. So this starts this little pseudo beef between LaBouffe and Cogburn. Fun dynamic, but LaBouffe, looking back on it, is kind of a weirdo. So they keep arguing the whole time, and it's just not going to work out. They have to break their agreement. And this leaves just Maddie and Cogburn. Obviously, Maddie does not want to go with the man who just spanked her and watched her sleep and said he would steal a kiss. So they separate. It's now just LaBouffe on his own, and then Maddie and Cogburn. I wonder if we'll see LaBouffe again, in these westerns where characters definitely just disappear and then never come back. Nonetheless, Maddie and Cogburn continue on their journey and happen upon a body hanging from a super high tree, which we see Maddie have to climb up like that might be 25, 30 feet, bro. Who was up there? Like, what's the point of, I guess it's to send a real good message that people get hung when you do shit or whatever. But fuck, man. That was a very high tree. I wouldn't even bother with that shit. You can get the same message by doing Little Tree. I don't know. I thought that was very dramatic. But, you get the 10-minute scene of Maddie climbing the tree, and then somebody else comes down the road, and Cogburn's like, cut that man down because I might know who that is, which is fair, I guess, if she's already climbed up the tree. And then she cuts him down. Of course, he doesn't know who it is. So they think this person who they hear rustling in the woods, they think it's LaBouffe following them, and it's not. This person who approaches them is a man named Forrester. He is a healer who is wearing a literal bear skin, like when you get to level 100 when you kill the mystical, what is it? Mythical? Is it mythical? Or I don't know what it's called in Red Dead Redemption, but those special animals, when you kill this bear, you get the head and whatever. But this guy's literally wearing like bear skin, like a bear. He is a bear, where it's like you have the bear's head and then the bear's skin all down. Like he's wearing a fucking bear. So I respected this guy, but we never are going to see him again. But it was a cool thing from Forrester. I think he gave him maybe a tip or something. Moving ahead, they're on their way, as we Westerns do. We make our way and stop at haberdasheries and shit. But they have a crazy interaction at this place where they need to hunker down for the night. They're talking with two gentlemen, and Cogburn's like slowly pressing them, and then he's like, fuck it, we're going all out. And then one finally squeals and then gets his fingers chopped off, and then Cogburn immediately shoots the other. So this was one of my top scenes of the movie, where it's like this confrontation, these guys are just bullshit, and then Cogburn's like, all right, what the fuck do you know? Cuts the fingers, bam. Crazy. That's like what we were building up to. We need these action scenes along the way to take us to where we need to be. I digress. But that was a super fun scene. And they're starting to get some real hints about where Cheney is and his whereabouts, and what could they possibly do? Where were they? They were just at this place a day ago. What are the details here? So they're staking him out because they know they're going to come back for some other stuff. And right as they're staring and expecting them to show up, who shows up again? It's Creep LaBouffe. And he is fucked on his own because there's a group right behind him, Cheney and his group. So they pull up on LaBouffe, but Cogburn's got a little sniper. He's got a little DSR-50, and he's able to shoot a couple from long range. Some do end up escaping. Of course, he would never hit Cheney in this interaction, right? And one of somebody's shot and may lose their tongue. I forget who this is. I think it's LaBouffe, because LaBouffe caught like a stray bullet, but he's not gonna lose his tongue. It's Matt Damon in a speaking role. Like, let's be fucking for real. Anyways, Cogburn is just dead drunk. He's been slightly drinking. We kind of see him be a little bit belligerent at times throughout the movie. He's past that. He's now dead drunk, and they have a dick measuring contest, shooting cornbread out of the sky in the prairie. Which, some people probably like the scene of like Matt Damon and him just throwing up cornbread. I thought it was okay. It's like they have the same fucking thing in Unforgiven with English Bob. It's like every movie, you can expect the same thing. It's like a dick measuring contest and a run-in at a hotel. The ending's just gonna be fucking crazy. Like, let's write different westerns, guys. I guess this is a remake, so I can't shit on it too hard from the 1952 version. I digress, and I'm just gonna keep saying I digress as a transition point. I thought the dick measuring contest was fine. Meanwhile, the pursuit is over, man. Cogburn gives up on it. But LaBouffe is, what? I fucking got shot in the fucking tongue. I'm continuing on. I've been diminished, and I will not stop until I find Cheney dead. So, interesting turn of events where Cogburn was initially the most motivated. Well, I don't know if he was the most motivated because LaBouffe had been tracking him down for a while. This is LaBouffe's mission, so LaBouffe's going to continue on, but Cogburn's like, fuck this shit, they're probably gone. And he was kind of right, but not really. So yeah, Cogburn has given up. LaBouffe is still going to pursue. Actually, no, I lied. LaBouffe gives up as well. He says, I'm diminished, I'm done, and he quits. He was never continuing. Don't you love the DubCast brain? So they're both giving up. They're done. And obviously Maddie has no choice but to also give up because she's a 14-year-old girl. She's not going to be able to track down a group of grown men. But she goes to the river to check it out, and she has a chance encounter. Who does she see on the river? Of course, it's fucking Cheney. And she shoots him once in the shoulder as they're like, you won't do shit, but she has her dad's gun. Gets Cheney in the shoulder, and then they all just grab her because Cogburn's dead drunk and blacked out somewhere and doesn't care about her right now. So once that happens, she's now being held captive by Cheney and his crew, and this happens now on the top of like a mountain type scenic area where we learn the leader of this group is actually a man named Ned, who Ned actually knew Cogburn, so there's some relationships there. And Cheney and Maddie are alone for some reason, which is very stupid of Ned as well, where it's like, obviously Cheney might just crash out and shoot Maddie and kill her, but he's like, don't do that, I need to go talk to Cogburn, whatever. So they go ahead, Ned and the crew, and then Cheney starts pressing a knife against her neck, and who is here to save the day after we see a down and defeated Cogburn drunk? It's LaBouffe. He's here to hit Cheney in the head with a rock. No, I lied. But LaBouffe's here to save the day, saves her from captivity. And Cogburn is going to go against Ned and his crew. He goes 1-on-4 and gets everyone except for Ned. So now it's the most two prevalent characters left from the Cheney gang. Cogburn versus old foe Ned, and then Cheney and LaBouffe beefing it out. LaBouffe does shoot Ned from long range, but Cheney has regained the upper hand and hits LaBouffe in the head with a rock. That's what I was talking about before. You know, it's a lot because we didn't have a lot going on, but now we're thrown right into the mix of it. So Cheney is doing his thing, hits LaBouffe, looks pretty good for him, like he's gonna win this battle. But Maddie shoots him, and then as soon as she shoots him, of course she gets the clap. No, is it clap? What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. When you shoot and then you fall back. I can't think of the word. She falls back and, of course, has to fall down a cave as a snake makes it out of a dead body next to her in a cave. So she's being trapped in a snake cave. And then Cogburn comes down to save the day out of nowhere. He shoots all the snakes and removes the venom from her bite. Tough scene. They escape out of there on a horse, and then Cogburn has to kill the horse. I don't know why there was such a big thing over the horse. Maybe that was like built into the beginning with the bookkeeper. I didn't care about that. Like, I don't care about the horse. But Cogburn has to kill the horse, sending a message to the world that, you know, people do have to die in these things. It's not just all the heroes make it out, but it's a fucking horse. You know, I love animals, so I am so sad to see the horse die. And he's going to carry Maddie back to safety. We learn in the future, 25 years later, she ended up losing her arm. So maybe he didn't get all that venom out. And they're not able to reunite as she tries to make her way to see Cogburn at a show or something. And he left 3 days ago and had passed on. So interesting to see, like, the weird time jump thing they do where, like, she's narrating at the beginning and at the end. It's like, we don't care at all about her as an older person. But I guess you do because you care about the kid version. Whatever. So, boom. That one rapid fire because the ending was fucking crazy and there was a lot of shit going on. What'd you guys think of True Grit? You know, ending I thought was pretty crazy and, you know, a little bit much at points. And I don't know, I didn't really care for the future aspect of it. You know, and also to make it for Cogburn, make it 25 years later, like, that dude must have been living good. You know, Wild West was not an easy place to live. But that's my thoughts on True Grit. You know, I think I did say a little bit too negative things throughout the movie, but, you know, people like me better when I'm negative about things, so maybe you guys will like this video. DubCast, it's been quiet, man. I've been watching shows, and I'm kind of done doing the reviews on the shows where if no one's going to talk to me about shows, I'm, like, saying that, like, people are turning me down. I just don't ask people to watch the shows with me, but I don't want, you know, I feel like you guys wouldn't care about my show reviews, and the views have kind of showed that, so I'm not going to waste my time when those are the longest videos to make as well. So we'll expect more movie reviews in the way. I need to watch Fantastic Four. I need to watch Superman, maybe F1. But there's movies coming, and I'm going to get back into movies with football season. Speaking of football season, we got football season on the way. We got NBA offseason to cover. We got UFCs. We got a bunch of shit happening on the DubCast, hopefully in the near future. I'm not going to overcompensate anymore. You know, I'm going to do a video when it feels natural. I felt good today. I felt good coming on this podcast. I felt like I was, you know, doing the best I can do. So I feel like the break was well needed. Expect more content in the future, maybe slightly, you know, a little bit less than usual. Once I get to 100 subs, though, I'm taking this shit for real. No cap. I'm getting a green screen. I'm hiring an editor. I'm getting a new laptop. Like, let's go. Get me to 100 subs, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment. Tell me your thoughts on True Grit. Dislike if you didn't like my thoughts on it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, be easy, y'all.